Hi everyone, so welcome to the stream today. Very much excited for having you on the stream. Like we discussed yesterday, we started the journey for the ICAG November 2020 examination, and I'm going to be starting a new series where I am going to be providing you with a study guide, how you should understand the syllabus, the aim of the examiner and the subject, and also how you can narrow down the things that you need to focus on, things that you need to really highlight on in order for you to increase your chances of passing the examination. So this is going to be a number of series where I'm going to be covering the subjects in pair, and I'm starting today with financial reporting FR and then corporate reporting CR, or if you want ACCA F7, ACCA SBR, strategic business reporting in that case. So I'm going to be covering what you need to understand about the syllabus, what is the objective of the examiner, what are the key areas you need to focus on, how you can structure your study. So I'm giving you a blueprint, a study guide on how you need to structure yourself so you can position yourself strategically to pass the examination. Now, if you are watching, give me a thumbs up on the video and remember to share the video so we can reach as many students as possible. However, I would want to hear from you. Tell me in the chat box or in the comment box whatever questions that you have, whatever you want me to cover. What topics would you want me to cover in financial reporting? What topics would you want me to cover in corporate reporting? Give me the topics that you want me to cover, and what questions do you have that you would want me to share my thoughts on. You can put them in the chat box or in the comment box, and I'll be reading them, replying to them either in one of the live streams, or if it is possible for me to just type directly in there, I will be able to type in there and provide you with some answers. So that is it about that. But also remember that every single week we're going to be selecting one or two individuals who are going to be top fans for the week, and then enroll them on our full course online. What it means is that you will be able to study directly under my mentorship, get access to our full courses, get access to our lecture videos, the ebooks catalog, and you'll be able to ask me questions on that one-on-one personal level. And how do you qualify for that? You qualify for that if you're a subscriber of the channel. You have to definitely like this video. You are following me on Instagram and on Facebook as well, and you are sharing our content and engaging in our content. Every single week we're going to be selecting one or two top fans, and they are going to be enrolled on a course online and be able to study under my mentorship. So if this is something that you want, then you make sure you hit the like button, you share the video, and also engage with me on Instagram and then Facebook. Then you will be one of the lucky winners this week for them to enroll and study under my mentorship. So let's go straight out into the discussion for today. So we're looking at financial reporting and then corporate reporting, the study guide. How do you study financial reporting to pass the exams? How do you study corporate reporting to pass the exams? What are the key areas you need to focus on to pass the exam? What is the expectation of the examiner when you are preparing for the financial reporting exams FR or the corporate reporting exam CR? What is the objective of the examiner? What is the examiner looking for? What does the examiner want you to know before you enter the exam hall? That is what I want to go through with you today. Now, one of the things that fascinate me a lot is that many students don't take time to actually read the syllabus or go through the syllabus, and it's one of the things that I would recommend for you to do. Make sure that you have the syllabus irrespective of where you are attending lectures. Make sure you have the syllabus to yourself so you understand the breakdown of everything in the syllabus, the coverage of the syllabus, what you need to look out for, what you need to focus on. Because if you don't, chances are something may escape the lecturer. He may not be able to talk about it even though it's in the syllabus, and then you will be able to bring that up, raise that concern on, and then the lecturer will be able to throw some lights on it. I remember my students I tell them about this, so they will look at the syllabus, they will say, Nhyira, there is this thing in the syllabus, especially just this ended exams, there is this thing in the syllabus, but you've not spoken about it. And then sometimes I'll just tell them, okay, if it is something that is critical that I would the need for that particular examination setting, I talk about it. But if it's not something that is critical for that particular examination setting, based on my understanding of the examination analysis document that we do here, I can just say, hey, ignore that, it's in the syllabus, but the examiner is not going to be examining on it, so don't look at it, and then that is it about that. But you need to understand what is in the syllabus, then you'll be able to know what it is that you need to look out for. So when we go to the syllabus and look at financial reporting, the key question we ask ourselves is, what is the aim of this paper? The financial reporting paper, FR, what is the aim of the paper as a 2.1 paper in the level 2? What is the objective of what is the aim of this paper? At the end of the day, what is the examiner looking for? So per the syllabus, this is the aim of the financial reporting paper. The aim of the module is to provide candidates with the skills, to prepare single entity and group financial statements in accordance with IFRS. Listen to that carefully. The aim of the module is to provide candidates with the skills to prepare single entity and group financial statements in accordance with IFRS. So the aim of financial reporting is, number one, to provide students with the skills. So you got to possess the skill to be able to prepare single entity financial statement. Now at this level, when we talk about single entity financial statement, what are we talking about? We're talking about the statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income. We're talking about the statement of changes in equity. We're talking about the statement of financial position. We are talking about the cash flow statement or the statement of cash flow as per IAS 7, and then we are talking about the value added statement. So when we talk about single entity financial statements, these are the things that we're talking about. Then number 2, the skills to be able to prepare group financial statement, consolidated financial statement. Now at this level, consolidated financial statement is a simple group structure, which means that you're going to have a parent, a subsidiary, or a parent, a subsidiary, and an associate. So it's going to be a simple group structure at this level. But then you're going to be preparing these financial statements, that is for the single entity, for the group, in accordance with IFRS, meaning that the bedrock of the syllabus is the International Financial Reporting Standards. So in order for you to excel in the exams, and I've said this over and over again if you have followed me for some time now about financial reporting, that the accounting standards are the basis. So you're not going to just prepare this financial statement out of a thin air. You must prepare them in accordance with International Financial Reporting Standards. It is for this reason why I recommend students studying financial reporting and by extension corporate reporting to always start with the issue in relation to, how do we call it, the financial reporting standards. That's the first thing. That is the first thing. Always start with the financial reporting standards, because you cannot prepare the single entity financial statement if you don't understand the financial reporting standards. You cannot prepare a full statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, or a statement of changes in equity, or a statement of financial position, or even a cash flow statement if you don't understand the International Financial Reporting Standards. So the first point, because this is the reason, every footnote in the question is actually an accounting standard. That is why the syllabus aim is to provide students with a skill to be able to prepare single entity and group financial statement in accordance with the International Financial Reporting Standards. So that is the first, that is the 3 things you need to understand so far. So to prepare single entity financial statement, group financial statement, and these financial statements in accordance with International Financial Reporting Standards. That is very critical, and that is very, very important. Then number 2, then the next thing is to support evaluation of financial statement. So the thing also there is to support evaluation of financial statement. So that is also another thing there. So you're going to prepare the financial statement in accordance with the IFRS. Then also you must provide us some evaluation of financial statement. It tells you that when you are going into the exam hall, it means you're going to see a question on International Financial Reporting Standards. You're going to see a question on single entity financial statement. You're going to see a question on group financial statement. Then you're going to see a question on evaluation of financial statement. That is it. That is it. So before even you start the journey, this is what you have to prepare your mind on. Yesterday I spoke to you about mindset. This is what you got to prepare your mind on. That, okay, this is what the examiner is going to be asking me in the exam hall. Whether you like it or not, the examiner is going to be asking you something about single entity, something about group accounts, something about international financial reporting standards, something about evaluation of financial statement. So when you are starting to study, you look at it in that regard. So if that is the aim of the syllabus, that is the aim of the financial reporting, then what is the structure of the syllabus then? So it is based on the aim that we see 5 divisions of the syllabus in that case. So let's look at the division of the syllabus. So we see the conceptual framework for financial reporting. That's the first aspect. Conceptual framework for financial reporting. Now that is 10%, and this is question 5 in your examination. All other things being equal, that could be question 5. No man's land question. The examiner dumps a lot of things there in that case. So conceptual framework for financial reporting. Here you're going to be covering issues such as the conceptual framework and regulatory framework, and then ethics. So there are actually 3 things here, and then also the issue about the International Accounting Standard Board, okay? Maybe standard setting procedures, all of those things, the examiner could bring all those things in there. So that is 10% of the syllabus. So you're going to be looking at ethics, you're going to be looking at International Accounting Standard Board, and then you're going to be looking at the regulatory framework, and then the conceptual framework. So these are the 3 things that are in there. 10% of the syllabus grading, purely reading, purely reading, purely reading. Now, remember that every examination sitting, you're going to have a question on single entity, you're going to have a question on consolidation, you're going to have a question on standards, you're going to have a question on evaluation of financial statement, then you're going to have a question on ethics. Something about ethics will always be in the exam hall, almost always, 99.9% of the time, it will always be in the exam hall, because ethics has become something that is fundamental to the duty of the chartered accountants. That is why a lot of subjects now in the ICA syllabus, under the new syllabus, has ethics in them, man accounting, financial reporting, audit and assurance, and a lot of the other subjects have something related to ethics. So there is going to be a question on ethics. You got to make sure you understand that very well and you position yourself for that. Then the second categorization of the syllabus is the application of International Financial Reporting Standards. Application of the International Financial Reporting Standards. And that is 25% of the syllabus. 25% of the syllabus. Like I said earlier, there is going to be a question on accounting standards. Now, hold on, because at the end of the discussion, I'm going to be giving you the core accounting standards that you need to understand. Non-negotiable when you are going into the exam hall in that case. So that is 25% of the syllabus. The examiner is definitely going to be setting some questions around this. If you're watching, give me a thumbs up on the video if you have not. If there is any questions you have, put it in the chat box or put it in the comment box. I'm going to be replying to all of your questions and answering all of your questions for you on the stream. And then consider also to share the video with your friends and colleagues so we can get as many students as possible to be able to get this knowledge and other content available on the channel, so you can actually prepare yourself and understand what you are doing well. So thank you for the thumbs up, and in case you've not subscribed also, you can hit the subscription button and become a VIP member. Remember, we are giving some courses away every week, and you can be one of the lucky winners of that. Number 3, single entity financial statement. Single entity financial statement, that is going to be 20% of the syllabus. Like I said, single entity, we're talking about 4 issues here. We're talking about the statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income. We're talking about the statement of changes in equity. We're talking about the statement of financial position. Okay, and then we're talking about cash flow statement. So either the examiner is going to be bringing the statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income and statement of financial position, and then the statement of cash flow or the cash flow statement. Okay, so like either or, all right, either you're having cash flow or you're having income statement and statement of financial position. The two will not be in an examination sitting, so one of them will be there. Don't ask me, Nhyira, which one will be there. You just have to position yourself for each one of them. But like I said earlier, you need to be able to understand the accounting standards before you can prepare the financial statements. If you don't understand the accounting standards, then you certainly cannot prepare the financial statement. So it's very critical for you to be able to understand the accounting standards, then you can prepare the financial statement. So once you understand the single entity financial statement, the next thing is to look at business combination. This is consolidation, and that is 25% of the syllabus. Like I mentioned earlier, this is going to be something in relation to a simple group structure at this level. So a parent and a subsidiary, and then probably an associate. Okay, a parent, sub, an associate, or just a parent and subsidiary. Very simple group structure at this level in here. And then the last thing has to do with evaluation of financial statements. Evaluation of financial statement. That is why you're going to be computing the ratios and interpreting the ratios. It's very important for you to understand how to interpret the ratios. For your information, everything listed here, I have content on them already on the channel. So you can check the playlist titled Accounting Standard Series, and you will get almost all the accounting standards lecture videos on them to be able to study for the exam. So go in there and then learn them. Then for single entity, we have some videos certainly there. For group financial statements, we have some videos settling there on in a playlist called Group Financial Statements. You can get that. Then the evaluation of financial statement also, I did a 2-part video last before the May 2020 exams, and you can go and watch that 2-part video to explain how we actually computed with the various ratios, and most importantly, how you're going to be interpreting the ratios, because many students stay glued to the computation, but the examiner is not excited about your ability to be able to compute the ratios, but he is more excited, more interested in your ability to be able to interpret the ratios, because the computation is going to take like 5 marks, and then the interpretation may take like 10 marks in that case. So almost all the time, computation or interpretation takes larger percentage or greater percentage of the total mark when it comes to the computation or evaluation of financial statement. So when it comes to financial reporting, my friend, this is what you need to understand. Financial reporting, this is what you need to understand about financial reporting. So the question is, how do you study? That is the question. How do you study? Like I said in the beginning, conceptual framework and regulatory framework, issues about ethics, these are reading areas, so you can read them shortly and then have an understanding of them. Then you switch gear to the International Financial Reporting Standards, learning the IAS 16, IAS 20, IAS 23, IAS 40, IAS 36, IAS 37, IAS 38, IFRS 15, IFRS 16, IFRS 9, name it. All of the standards, you've got to learn them. So you go through all the standards. Please, don't start with any single entity if you hadn't gone through enough standards. Otherwise, you give yourself broken hearts. Okay? Why did I say that? Because you see the single entity question and you read a footnote, you don't understand. And you go to the solution, you still don't understand. Why? Because like I mentioned, every footnote or each of the footnotes in a single entity financial statement is actually an accounting standard or has its roots in an accounting standard. So IAS 16, IAS 12, IFRS 9, IFRS 15, every footnote is actually an accounting standard. So the first thing you need to do, the study guide in here is, number one, you read through quickly the conceptual framework for financial reporting, focusing on ethics, focusing on the International Accounting Standard Board, the standard setting procedure and all of that, regulatory framework and conceptual framework, looking at that. Then you come to the main area on the issue about the application of International Financial Reporting Standards. It's very critical, it's very important you do that. Now, once you build your knowledge on the International Financial Reporting Standard, it is only then that you are qualified to now come to the level 2 single entity. And this is the sweet spot. When you really understand the International Financial Reporting Standards, Preparation of the final account of the single entity becomes very easy because you read the footnote and you know, okay, this is about IFRS 9. This is a financial instrument. Okay, you read a question that you know, okay, this is about IFRS 15, revenue from contract with customers. You read a question that you know, oh, this is about income tax. Okay, IAS 12. Okay, you read a question that you know, oh, okay, this is about IAS 16, depreciation. How do I treat it? Oh, you read a question that you know, this is about IAS 12. Like, that is it. So it makes the single entity very interesting. So because you've built your knowledge on the international financial reporting standards, hence when you come to the single entity, it becomes very easy for you. So that's the third thing you need to look at. Then, after you understand the single entity, then and only then you can start with consolidation. Now let me address this beast that we have. Many students, listen to this carefully, and I'm starting with this and I'll keep on saying it as far as it is about financial reporting and corporate reporting till you write the exams. And as much as you are following me till you become a chartered accountant, I'm going to be mentioning this. Never start the exams with consolidation. In the exam, now this is for the exams, and I want you to start preparing your mind. Don't start with the console question in the exam hall. I don't know who propounded that or who puts that in the mind of students writing financial reporting and corporate reporting. They think console is everything. I remember last semester, my students were asking me, some of my students were asking me, hey, Nhyira, when are we doing console? When are we doing console? Like, console is not anything. Console is not anything. So don't prepare your mind from day one. It's going to be maybe the third or the final question you're going to be answering in the exam hall. Why am I saying this? Because of the requirements. Why am I saying this? Because of the workload involved. And I'm going to come back to that in a moment. Then final thing is about evaluation of financial statement. I've spoken about that already. So how do you map out yourself going into the exam hall? Now, like I said, I'll be giving you this guideline over and over again, but since I'm giving you the syllabus guide, I need to give you how you can structure yourself in the exam hall. You got to prepare yourself in such a way that in the exam hall, you go to the question 5, which is theory area, and that is going to cover ethics, international accounting standards, and then regulatory framework. Sometimes if the examiner is excited, that question 5 area will also have something in relation to standards. Okay, so that is theory area. So you can go there, take out that first. Then from there, based on your understanding of the international accounting standards very well, or international financial reporting standards very well, you go to question 2 to answer the questions on the standards. That's why I want you to build your knowledge well on the international financial reporting standards. When you are done with that, you come to question 3. That's going to be the single entity question. You answer that question in there, or you can swap that with the evaluation, because the evaluation also, you need to build your understanding. If you watch my video on the evaluation of financial statement, you will build a solid understanding on evaluation of financial statement, and you can do that very well in the exam hall. So that by the time you are coming to the console question, you have done a lot. You've done 80% already. So that now you're going to be spending the rest of the time on the consolidation. Because sometimes there will be a statement in console in the footnote that can cripple you. And you can spend 3 hours, more than an hour on the console question. Before you know it, you are failed in the exams. Then later on, when you are going through the paper, then you'll be like, so there was this question that I could answer. Then I was wasting my time on the console. I don't want you to go through that. Does it make sense? Comment below if it makes sense for you. So that is how we're going to be positioning ourselves and studying to be able to pass the financial reporting exams. Right. Stay with me. I'm going to give you some standards, some key standards, as I walk through corporate reporting in here with the corporate reporting students as well. So stay with me if you're doing financial reporting. Don't click off and go away. Corporate reporting. Now, what is the aim of the corporate reporting syllabus? Like you know already, the corporate reporting is a build-up of financial reporting from level 2. And financial reporting is actually a build-up from financial accounting in level 1. Just scrolling to the aim. Even though I have it written here, I want to read it up as well to you. So this is paper 3.1. On corporate reporting. So what is the aim of the paper? Very important. The aim of this module is to ensure that candidates apply the appropriate judgment and technical competence. Listen carefully. The aim of the syllabus is to be able to enable candidates to apply to apply the appropriate judgment and technical competence. Technical competence. Yes, we are not positioning you like you are chartered accountants though, but then that kind of thing. You need to be like the la creme de la. You need to really have some skills. Here, we are not playing here. There are some errors you can commit in financial reporting and it may be looked over, especially when you are doing evaluation of financial statements, writing reports and those things. It could be looked over here, but when you come here, you gotta have the technical competence, because after this paper and after you graduate, you're going into the world. So we are putting you at test to see if we put you before a real-time situation, what will you do? How will you present it? How will you go about it? So to apply the appropriate judgment and technical competence in 1, preparation of financial statement for complex business entities. So like you know it, here you are dealing with just business combination and it's a simple group structure, but here it's going to be a complex group structure. What does that mean? It means you're going to have a parent, a subsidiary, and then maybe a sub-subsidiary, or you may have a parent, a subsidiary, then an associate. But that associate, the parent has an investment in there, the subsidiary also has an investment in there. So complex group structure or a foreign subsidiary. Okay, so if there's a foreign subsidiary and we are translating their financial statement into the home country currency of the parent company to prepare the group financial statement, how do we go about that? So that is it. So we're really putting you into a real case scenario, because really, when we are talking about group of companies, it's not just about, okay, they have a lot of businesses in Ghana. No, they may have a lot of businesses outside Ghana. They may even be multinational companies. And if you are the group CFO or you are the group chief accountant or whatever title that we can give you for that, then you got to have the competency, the technical competence to be able to do that. 2, interpretation of financial statement for complex business entities. Here, you are doing evaluation or interpretation of financial statement for single entities, for simple groups. But here, your interpretation will be for complex group structure. So, you'll be doing interpretation. So, here, it was just like we are introducing you, right? It's just a tidbit. But here, we are putting you on the face of the group. So when you are doing the evaluation of financial statement for the group, how do you go about it? How do you deal with that? So interpretation of financial statement. Then 3, you need to have the technical competence to evaluate and communicate the impact of current issues. Very, very important. Current issues and development. Current issues and development. So the reports writing and all of those things are very, very critical in here that you need to understand. Let's get some water into the system. So that is it about that as well, communication and evaluation. So that is it. So it is based on this aim that we have this structure of the syllabus. So look at it here. I love the syllabus here. Number 1, what do you see? Application of International Financial Reporting Standards. And look at the syllabus grading. 30%. 30%. That's huge. That's huge. 30%. So you got to be very excited about that, meaning that I'm going to have about 25% mark question on the International Financial Reporting Standard. If I know this, I don't screw up. I make sure I understand all the accounting standards, all the International Financial Reporting Standards. That is why I keep on telling you, you cannot write corporate reporting or financial reporting without having an in-depth understanding of the financial reporting standard. And like I have said already, on this channel, we already have lecture videos covering almost all the financial reporting standards that you need to pass your exams. Yeah, there are a couple of them that are not available now on the channel, but we have a lot of video that we have on the International Financial Reporting Standards. So you got to make sure you build your knowledge. Stay with me because I'm going to give you some key standards as we move ahead. Next one, preparation of financial statements for the group. And that is 25%. You see that it's 25% in level 2, it's still 25% in level 3 for group. Now, like I've said already, group financial statements, complex group for that matter. Number 3, evaluating financial statements. That's also 20%. It's still 20%. It was still 20% in level 2, and it's 20% in here as well. So that is also the issue about that. But remember, here with the evaluation of financial statements, you are not just looking at a single entity, you are looking at a complex group structure in here. And that is very critical, and that is very, very important. Then, for 15%, based on the syllabus grading, we have what we call the specialized transaction. This is where we have issues such as business valuation, okay, and then corporate restructuring, and then financial reorganization. Corporate restructuring, and then financial reorganization. Now, with this one, it works like the single entity in FR, where either the examiner will bring cash flow or will bring a statement of profit or loss, another comprehensive income, and the statement of financial position. So here, the examiner also alternates. Either you're going to be having question about corporate restructuring and financial reorganization, or the examiner will bring a question on business valuation. Which one should I learn? Learn all the two, okay? Because one of them will be in the exam hall, and that is what it is about under business valuation. Now, when we come to business valuation, I've covered a number of, there are videos on this on the channel about business valuation, even financial reconstruction and corporate reorganization. We have lecture videos on that already. I don't know if it is on the channel. I would have to, you can check if it's on the channel. If it is not, then it's on our full course online. So when it comes to the business valuation, we're talking about the methods of valuation in here. We are dealing with issues in relation to the asset valuation model, the dividend valuation model, using the price earnings ratio to value a company, using the earnings yield model to value a company, using the concept of free cash flow to value a company. And there are a number of methods that we can use to be able to value a company, and you should be able to understand all that. Then the difference between corporate restructuring and financial reorganization. Dealing with corporate restructuring, we're dealing with selling off of assets, we're dealing with issues when it comes to financial reconstruction, we're dealing with leverage financing, leverage recapitalization, and all of that. There are a lot of concepts in there. You must make sure you go through them. And then the last aspect is 10%. That is question 5, ethical issues and appropriate ethical responses. Definitely the examiner is going to be throwing a jab at you. I mentioned that as well in financial reporting. It's going to be a scenario based. So the examiner will bring out a short scenario and will tell you what is the ethical issue here and what is the appropriate course of action that you have to take. Remember, I have done some discussions on ethics already on the channel. You can look for it on the channel and look at how you answer ethics questions. Something will be going on in the question, and you should be able to understand the ICAG fundamental codes of ethics, integrity, objectivity, professional competence and due care, professional behavior, confidentiality. Then based on that, you must understand the threats that we have there, the self-review threat, the self-interest threat, the advocacy threat, the intimidation threat, and then the issue in relation to familiarity threats. So you should be able to understand all of these and position yourself strategically. And when it comes to the appropriate ethical action that has to be taken, number 1, you can confront the issue by reminding the person of what has to be done, or insisting that the right thing should be done. Or number 2, you can seek a legal advice, or now that advice can be from the regulatory body or from ICAG about it. And then number 3, you can resign if really the issue is not being resolved and the issue is not being handled the way you would want it to be handled. So that is the issue about ethics here, and the examiner will certainly give you or bring you some questions in there. So when it comes to the issue about corporate reporting also, that is how you're going to be studying. So how are you going to be studying? You're going to start with the financial reporting standards. Start now. Every day one. Okay, if you do every day, you do one Yes, I know realistically you can't learn every day, maybe because of work, family, your wife, your girlfriend, your husband, your boyfriend, and all of those things that you do. You can learn every day, but at least if every week you're learning 3 times a week or 2 times a week, blocking some time out, it's very critical. So make sure you spend some time to go through the standards very well. Understand them very well. Don't just go through them casually, understand them very well. Then, because of that, you need the question kit from ICA. This is the question bank. This is for corporate reporting and this is for financial reporting. You need to get these books. I mentioned this yesterday on the stream. You need to get these books. Get them, okay? No matter where you are studying, no matter the lecturer who is teaching you, irrespective of whose book you are using, get these question banks. They will help you. It is, I don't know, 45 cedis or whatever it is. Even if it is, like I said, 200 Ghana cedis, you need to buy it. It will help you, all right? So get some money in there as you are starting to study. Get these ebooks. Get them to your ICAG archives, and then go through them. You see, one of the things that I love about this question bank is the way the questions are structured. The questions are structured based on the syllabus. Okay, so when you pick every segment of the syllabus, there are questions in the financial reporting standards. Almost all the standards, you will see a question about them. So after you watch a video on the standard, then you now come here, come and look at the question. You solve it. Time yourself. Time yourself. From the beginning, you have to start timing yourself so that you don't fall a victim in the exam hall. Because chances are, in the exam hall, you may not be able to time yourself, or so consciously, as you are studying now, start timing yourself. Every 1 mark question is 1.8 minutes. Okay, every 1 mark question is 1.8. So if you read a question and it is 5 marks, it is 5 minutes. Sorry, it is 5 marks. You just multiply that by 1.8, and that gives you whatever time that is supposed to. That's going to be 9 or so, something like that. 8 by 5 is 4, so 9 minutes. And so that gives you 9 minutes. It means you put a stop clock down. So after 9 minutes, you stop. Then you find out. If you have not finished, give yourself some time to really finish, and then you compare it with what has been done. If there is something there you don't understand, you can go and show it to your lecturer and ask him about it, or ask her about it. Like I said, if you are learning somewhere and you can't send questions for your lecturers to assist you, then I don't know. You need to stop that playing and maybe do self-education, which I don't recommend also. You need to definitely study. But you make sure that you get these books, okay? I cannot overemphasize them. You get them. They will help you. These are not my books. Yesterday someone was asking me about them. These are the ICAG books. So you make sure you get them. Boom. So if really financial reporting standards, international financial reporting standards are going to be the bedrock for these 2 papers, what are the core financial reporting standards that you need to pay attention to? What are the core financial reporting standards that you need to focus on, that you need to look out for? So let me share some key or core financial reporting standards that you must know offhand. It means that if you sleep, if you are asleep and I wake you up, then I said, tell me about this standard, you should be able to what? Tell me about it. They are non-negotiable standards that I want you to understand very well. Number 1, regular customer, IAS 16, IAS 12, IFRS 15, IFRS 9, IFRS 16. Now, IAS 16 is property, plant, and equipment. This is income tax. This is revenue from contract with customers. IFRS 9 is about financial instruments. We also have IAS 32, and that is the disclosure and I think presentation of financial instruments. IFRS 16 is about leases. Certainly, you should be able to know about IAS 36, impairment of assets. IAS 37, provisions, contingent liability, contingent assets. Then IAS 38, intangible assets. Okay, you should be able to understand these standards. All right. So IAS 38, intangible assets, you should understand that as well. Now, when you are learning IAS 16, property, plant, and equipment, It doesn't work alone. I call them brothers. Okay, so you must know about IAS 20 government grant, IAS 23 borrowing cost, IAS 40 investment property, and then IFRS 5 assets held for sale and discontinued operation. So you cannot learn IAS 16 without knowing these standards. So basically, no matter what it is, you make sure you understand these standards. There are other standards that we could talk about, but on the for the beginning, or like whatever it is, you need to really understand these standards in there. Then for level 3 corporate reporting purposes, in addition to this, you need to understand the issue about IAS 19 employment benefits. You need to understand IFRS 2 share-based payment, and you need to also understand that. Let me just cross-check this. Forget that I have my slide here on that, and I'm just trying to call the things from my head. Okay, so let's see. Employment benefit, I've just mentioned that. So, I'm at Ipsos actually. Okay. Share-based payment, I brought that. Insurance contract, IFRS 4. Insurance contract. Now, there is something you need to know about these standards. There is a weighing, or how do we call it? Some level of understanding that the examiner gives to the standards. So that is why you need a syllabus. If you go to the appendixes 3 of the syllabus, you will be able to, or appendices, you will be able to get the syllabus grading. Something like IAS 16 like this. It's really deeper in the level 3. It is 3 there. In level 2, it's really also deep in there. So these are some core standards you need to understand about it. As you follow me and as I discuss some of these things as we continue, some of the standards will be coming up, and we'll be treating some of them, solving questions around them in that case. So these are what you need to understand when it comes to financial reporting and corporate reporting. Like I said, please don't do this on your own. Get a tuition provider, enroll in a course somewhere, whatever that is convenient to you. I'm not calling you to come and enroll and study under my mentorship, but whatever is convenient to you, study somewhere. Let somebody teach you. Pay the money. Don't have the money in your bank account and struggle. That's why you need to pay the money, whatever it is. If it is corporate reporting at 600 Ghana cedis, go for it. Okay, you buy the book, whatever it is, 50 Ghana cedis, that's going to be 650 cedis. Okay, then you commit yourself, you study. You commit yourself, you study. That is why you got to be careful where you are studying at, so that you'll be able to get that knowledge, you'll be able to get that assistance, you'll be able to get that personalized experience. All right, so you can prepare well for the exams. Don't look at 650 cedis in your account and struggle to fail the exams. No. Remember, from day one, you've got to prepare to win. And winning means spending some money, paying some money out, because money is a key that can open a lot of doors. Thank you very much for joining the stream today. It's always a pleasure coming your way and discussing with you something like this. Tomorrow, we're going to be looking at some other 2 subjects, pairing like that, where I give you an in-depth understanding of the syllabus, the areas you need to focus on, and even how you can study. Remember, comment below with any questions that you have. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. Give us a thumbs up on the video if you have not. That way, we get more engagement on the video, and YouTube will be able to push it so we can reach as many students as possible. But most importantly, when you do these things also, you make may be selected as one of the lucky winners who will be able to study directly under my mentorship, getting access to our full course, our ebooks, and also be able to ask me questions on the spot, so I'll be able to assist you so you can prepare well for your examination. Thank you very much, and I'll see you same time tomorrow, 4:30 p.m. as we continue with our discussion. All the best and stay blessed.